Then I feel the urge to start insisting, to start listing all the reasons people should listen, get their brains itching. Let them know it's really missing. Show them a picture and give them vision. See, this is for the thugs. It's for the dudes with the plugs and the ones who got laid down cause of drugs. For the Crips and the Bloods, the ones who took slugs and lost lives all for gang love. See, this is for the people, the South Africans and black Cubans and poor people in Puerto Rico. Este es por las chicas y para el flaco y las mujeres and las boricuas. For the dudes who use their waistbands as holsters. They ain't Italian, but they still use the Coda La Cosa Nostra. This is for Malcolm and Huey Newton, and for the renegades all over the world. Keep on shooting. Let's make a toast for all the brothers who had a dream like Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's make a toast for all the sisters who had to bury brothers in graveyards or prison yards. Let's make a toast for all the women and children whose fathers is missing and they still miss them. Make a special toast to the haters for helping us grow, cause we never know our strength without a foe. Let's make a toast. Peace, blessings, salutations. Yarima Karama here. Real life, real talk. These are the days of our lives. That's another single off of my upcoming project titled Up From the Trenches, Out of the Tombs. And that one is titled Let's Make a Toast. And so the subject that I wanted to talk about, real brief, first of all, I want to talk about the Queen. We need to people need to find out what's going on with Simone Marshall down in Texas. She was in a car accident. This happened a couple weeks ago, I guess. She was in a car accident. And instead of taking this sister to the hospital, they took her to the police station, and now she's missing. Nobody knows anything. I believe she's dead, but as a matter of fact, she is dead. But no, the officials aren't responding. Nobody's talking. Again, it's the state of Texas, so anything could have happened. Anything happens in Texas. It's still the wild, wild west down there. So, and especially where Black lives are concerned. So people need to be having an outcry. What's going on? They need to be diligently on top of these officials. Like, you need some answers, especially for the family, because the family, they haven't been told anything. It's ridiculous. A person who's in a fatal car accident, doesn't get taken to the hospital, gets taken to the police station, and now is dead. It's Sandra Bland all over again. Just ridiculous. But the topic that I wanted to talk about right now, real brief, is another act of vigilance. We have to make sure that we stay on top of these officials. This particularly is dear to my heart because this queen, I think she's brilliant. One of the first books that I read coming into real consciousness. The first book was dealing with Malcolm X, but then this was like the second, and it's the autobiography of Assata Shakur. And when I read this queen's work and the struggle that she went through, the fighting that she did for our freedom, it's always been a suggestion of mine that every Black woman in the U.S., all over the world really, but specifically in the U.S., every Black woman read her book. So this is what's going on. That the relations have opened between, the U.S. and Cuba, which, I've always found questionable at very best. I think Cuba was doing just fine without U.S. intervention. And whenever the U.S. intervenes in anything or tries to build some diplomatic front or anything, there's always some ulterior motives. There's something that, that they're trying to get out of it. And it's usually some type of diabolical scheme that they've already put in place. So, you talk about no faith in the government. Yeah, I have none. So with that said, this article, actually, you can look this article up on Poor Magazine. You can read it online, actually. But this is what it says. And starts out, Assata Shakur, Havana agrees to resolve cases of U.S. fugitives living in Cuba, says President Obama. A female former member of the Black Panthers who fled to Cuba to escape U.S. justice could be at the center of discussions between Havana and Washington. To normalize relations between the two countries, President Obama said Cuba had agreed to help resolve the cases of several U.S. fugitives living in Cuba. Among those who Cuba has previously refused to extradite is Assata Shakur. Ms. Shakur, whose married name was Joanne Chesimard, spent time in U.S. jails over charges relating to a shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike in 1973 in which a New Jersey state trooper was killed. A former member of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army, she was convicted of murder in 1979, and in 1984 she fled to Cuba where she received political asylum. I think it's important before I continue on. Also, overstand that prior to this 1979 conviction, she had basically beat a bunch of convictions. Basically, they were thrown out of court, or the jury had come to find her not guilty. So do that research as well. In a message to members of the U.S. Congress, Mr. Obama said Cuba had made clear its willingness to discuss the case as he pushes forward with a plan to remove Cuba from a list of state sponsors of terrorism. Mr. Obama said that while Cuba has gone so far as to provide housing, food ration, books, and medical care to some of the fugitives, it had also cooperated on other cases and returned some suspects to the U.S. Cuba has agreed to enter into a law enforcement dialogue with the United States that will include discussions with the aim of resolving outstanding fugitive cases. Mr. Obama wrote, according to the Associated Press, "We believe that the strong U.S. interest in the return of these fugitives will be best served by entering into this dialogue with Cuba." So Mr. Obama's move to remove Cuba from the terrorist list has been met with some opposition over the fugitives. New Jersey's Democratic Senator Bob Menendez and Republican Governor Chris Christie have both maintained that the terror designation should remain, especially while refusing to extradite Ms. Shakur. It is a national disgrace that the president would even consider normalizing relations while they are harboring a terrorist murderer who belongs in prison in New Jersey. Okay, enough said. So with that, because when these people, these politicians start talking, I just cut them off, and I don't even want to hear any more about what they have to say because it's not important. So they just did a study on from 0 to 10 on commercials and U.S. politicians. How often do they tell the truth? 10 being they tell the truth all the time, 1 being the 0 being the least. The answer was 1. So we know where they stand. They're a bunch of liars, tyrants, and bigots. So in any case, I wanted to bring this up because, first of all, I think my position is very simple. The Queen, Assata Shakur, she needs to evade capture at all levels. She needs to make sure that she is on point and evades capture. I don't know what the Cubans' position is, but I do know that where there's money involved, things tend to get skewed because you want to find even when you look at the Jews in Germany, people think that Hitler was just trying to knock off Jews. But when you look at the real history, there was a money trail that actually led from Germany to Italy to Russia and beyond. So it wasn't just about the Jews. Hitler was he was chasing some money too. So whenever there's money involved, and especially with the U.S., you're talking about a country that has raped, robbed, and pillaged all over the U.S., all over the world. Basically, they've gone into Africa, they've gone into Middle East, they've gone into Asia, and when they don't get their way, they tend to want to get mad, put sanctions on people, and all this other type of stuff. And so I think that those of us in the conscious community who really have love and respect and adoration for this Queen Assata Shakur, we need to spread that word and be vigilant, especially with these fake politicians. Be vigilant about letting our voice be heard, because quite frankly, the Queen has done nothing wrong, and it's total hypocrisy when the U.S. talks about the atrocities or something that happened to a state trooper when they have yet to answer for the millions upon millions of atrocities that happened to Africans or blacks in this country, and our ancestors who came before us. So again, I just hope the Queen evades capture. And I hope that the Cuban government, that they follow Castro's lead, Fidel Castro, that is. I hope that they stick to his ideology about keeping that queen extradited over there, keeping her free and out of the hands of the U.S. I am adamant about that. I was actually incarcerated with some of her comrades, and just the most beautiful spirits. And you know, when we talk about black consciousness, and we talk about people who were doing their part to uplift the black community. She was part of that. She was part of that movement to uplift. She was part of that movement to help feed young black boys and girls who weren't being fed, who were going to school hungry. She was all about that. And those organizations were all about that. And because it couldn't be controlled, or they couldn't be told what to do by the white establishment, the white government got together and decided to go in and just start annihilating. And that included killing, that included incarceration, and all of that. And so a state trooper got killed. Wasn't by the hands of Assata, but they want to put that blood on her hands and try to get her to do time. And one thing we know about this particular government, they will not be satisfied until they have either killed, raped, robbed, pillaged, or incarcerated the person that they're after. And so it's a shame that Obama is a part of that. But you know, outside of being a black president, well, you know, I won't even speak on that. I won't even speak on that because I know that there are supporters of Obama, and that's great. That's great. How'd that work out for you? So anyway, Yurima Karama here. Catch me connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Go to my webpage, www.yurimakarama.com. You can message me there if you have a topic, or you just want to, there's something that you want to express. You can inbox me there. You can also go there for my booking info. You can also go there to find out my performance dates and locations. So until next time, Yurima Karama. Again, I'm working on 2 books. One dealing with solutions for Black Americans. I'm working on that with Jay Morris, and we got a few other things that I got in the works. As you just heard, new CD that's done, 18 songs in. Just waiting on the mixing and mastering to be done now. That's going to be out. Also, yesterday just finished my poetry album, which I have yet to name. I'm going to be working on that today, the naming of that. So got a few things going on. Got a few events I'm going to be at, Atlanta, D.C., Chicago. So connect with me. Let's network. Peace, blessings, salutations. One, I'm out.